keep this winning streak going, trying to make it 7 straight, and the two dominant big men in the game going head-to-head. Comes back to Goldstein on his right side, and he gets the goal. Goes to the pass. Goldstein to the side. That will do it. How's the wow factor of this?
I thought Goldie's follow-up and effort in the contest, ability to move forward, move back, didn't get all the reward for his spread from the contest, but I thought he opened it up for others when he didn't get it.
Yeah, welcome back to Talking Footy. Kangaroos may well just be hitting form at the perfect time of the year, and the man sitting alongside of me has put together an unbelievable 2015. Todd Goldstein, welcome to Talking Footy, and congratulations on a brilliant year.
No, thanks a lot. It's been enjoyable so far.
In the post-game analysis, what was the coach most impressed about regarding that performance?
I think it was just our fight back. I think, plenty of times in the last probably year and a half, we've probably let games like that go after such a terrible start. But the boys really dug in after that first quarter, and we slowly just ground back into the game, which was credit to everyone.
I want to ask you about Brad Scott. He had the 4 weeks off. Clearly, he's come back with a harder edge, making harder decisions on players. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think probably, I wouldn't suggest every coach has a month off, but I think it's really been helpful for him to really step back and watch the broadcast, listen to what people are saying, seeing what he's seen from everyone else's eyes, and it probably showed him a few things that we need to change. And I think as a group we knew that probably after the Collingwood game it started, and it sort of dragged on for a month when he wasn't there, that we just needed to crack down on a few little things that really were costing us. So Brad came in and really he dropped Lindsay Thomas and gave Boomer the sub vest and things like that, which I think really sort of showed that no one was immune to it, and everyone had to sort of toe the line or you weren't going to be playing.
What did you make of at another club, and you don't normally comment on other clubs, but Lachie Henderson wanted in and told his teammates he didn't want to be there, and they quite quickly showed him the door. Is that fair, do you think? And what would you make of that if that happened at North Carolina?
I think it's probably a bit stiff on Lachie. I think I think everyone wants players to come out and say what their intentions are, and I think it's good on Lachie to show the honesty to do that. I think he's probably a bit harsh, and it's up to the club whether they want to play him or not. But I think it's because it's such a new concept, the whole the free agency and players choosing to leave and things like that, that everyone's still trying to get their heads around it. But I think that's the way forward, and it's just something we've got to get used to. But I don't have any problem with Lachie coming out there. You prefer to know what his plans are rather than him just stuffing everyone along and lying to everyone.
Now, you have dominated games this year with your tap work. At the weekend, we saw Sandland's operating. We saw you operating again. We saw Nick Natanui giving his ground-level players an armchair ride. We saw Jason Holmes coming to AFL football at the weekend, able to clearly tap the ball. Is that an area of your game that you pride yourself on more than any other component of the game or not?
I think probably up into this year that's been my main sort of mode of play is my ruck work, but it's about having an impact not just in the ruck contest. That's probably the biggest thing for my year this year. I think what most ruckmen are trying to do now is you need to be getting forward and kicking goals, and you need to be taking contested marks and things like that, because I think the ruck work is obviously very helpful, and if you can get the clearances straight from it is all well and good, but I don't think any these days, especially with only 3 on the bench, you can't afford just to be a tap ruckman anymore.
Aside from you, who are brilliant at the centre bounce, who's the best going around at the moment? Who's the hardest to compete against at the centre bounce?
Oh, obviously Aaron. I mean, with
more than Natanui?
Possibly. I think obviously Nick Nat's athleticism is second to none, but I think you can't teach size, and that's what Aaron's got. And 211 centimetres, about 115 kilos is something you can't teach, and it's hard to get around. So I think when he's moving well, he's definitely the hardest opponent.
So if you're coming up with someone like Aaron here, and we're having a little bit of a look at it, that's the more difficult opponent, rather than an athletic guy that gets around the ground and gets a lot of the ball, like a Stephen Martin, who's clearly not as big, but he'll hurt you around the ground and get a lot of the ball. Yeah,
it's obviously a different challenge coming up against someone like Steph Martin or Matty Cruz or something like that, who is really versatile around the ground. But as a flat-out ruckman, Aaron is by far the hardest.
Brent Harvey, he's a marvellous player, and I think he's just surprised everybody in the game with his longevity. But the thing that really sticks out is how important he still is to your team and the way you play.
Yeah, I mean, by far he's still probably in the top 5 players at the club, and that's why he got another year's contract, because we're not just trying to see him out so he gets the games record. He's a vital member of our team, and I think even off field, the way he prepares for games, the way he gets his body ready. It's just a great person to have around the club that we can all learn from and our younger guys can learn from.
Everyone's going to say that you have to finish in the top 4 to be a realistic chance to win the flag. How do you counter that if you don't finish in the top 4 as a group this year? Do you think you've got the belief that you're able to beat anybody in this competition?
Oh, absolutely, we got the belief. We showed on the weekend that coming up against top of the ladder, give up 7 goals in the first quarter and come back and win. So we believe that our best footy is capable of beating anyone. And we sort of got a good lesson last year as well. And I think that was a great experience, and I think we'll take a lot out of that finals campaign, even though it didn't quite finish how we would have liked. But I think that confidence going forward is definitely going to help us going into September. And all you got to do is make it to the big dance, and then anything's possible. I
wrote an article at the start of the year saying that the Kangaroos couldn't win the premiership because of their mental toughness. Do you think you've improved in that area over the year?
I hope so. I think the weekend was a great step forward, but all we can work with is with the evidence. And at this point, we probably haven't shown enough yet. But I think we're building things like on the weekend is definitely a step forward, and it shows we're capable of it. But now we've just got to do it on a consistent basis, and that's going forward what we have to do as a group.
Lots of tweets coming through. Want to get involved in the conversation with Todd Goldstein. And this question from Nicky Boy is here. Pacey midfielder or tall defender in free agency? Hashtag Brownlow beckons, it says as well for you, Todd, by the way. What would you rather have, a pacey midfielder or a tall defender?
It's a hard one. I think the tall defenders don't grow on trees. So I think someone, not knowing what Michael Free is going to do next year, another tall defender definitely wouldn't hurt, and might free up Scotty Thompson and Robbie Tarrant to go on a little bit smaller. So I think you always take a top-class tall defender.
Final one before we let you go. Is Jack Zeeble shoe-in to be the next captain of North Melbourne?
It'd be a tough man to say he isn't. I think everything he displays on field is what you want from your leader. He always steps up when we need someone too. So I think going forward, Zeeb's definitely a great candidate, but I know Andrew Swallow's still got a fair bit of footy left in him, so I don't think he'll be getting pushed out the door anytime soon. Great to catch up. We really appreciate you coming and joining us tonight. We might be sitting alongside the Brownlow medalist from 2015. That's how good a year Todd Goldstein has had. Thanks again for joining us.